Thank you, everyone. Hello and good afternoon. My name is Alejandro López, and I'm here to talk to you about our future as users and how we will be encountering artificial intelligence in our daily lives. This is painted through a bit of a digital marketing lens because you'll see that that is one of the first four fronts where companies are deploying technology to not just learn about us, but start to interact with us. So first, a little bit about my background. I've been working for 11 years in a data and analytics space focused around marketing analytics. Like Sal mentioned, I currently work at Google and previously was at Salesforce. Over this long run, I've been working with hundreds of different companies, both large enterprises and small startups, to really kind of answer questions around how do we best engage with our customers, who are they, and how do we target them with the right message or the right content at the right moment. Now, why data and analytics is an important foundation is because we need to start to understand that artificial intelligence success is going to be based on how we work with data and how organizations leverage data today. If we kind of tie it to the future of Food Week, AI essentially will be eating data. Data is the food for the future algorithms out there. Now, just kind of one thing to note, right? Like I see some of you on your phones, we are all data farms, right? If we go through a thought experiment, think about when you first picked up your smartphone. For me, my first smartphone was, I got it back in 2009 when I first went off to college. So that makes 15 years of continuous data outputs, whether that's through searches, through online shopping, and a variety of other media formats that we now have. Now, the kind of big problem or the bigger conundrum, right, is if we start to look at how data is going to grow over our lifetime, another way to think about it is 90% of the data you will manufacture is going to be in the future and not in your past. If we look at some research from Statista, we see that by 2025, we are barely reaching that knee point in the J-curve of what will be the future of data. So we have this massive amount of data coming. There are a lot of opportunities in terms of data engineering, enterprise use cases, as well as individual one-on-one or what we think of as prosumers using the data. And just another kind of point there, a lot of the data is also not user-specific, but users will be one of the biggest sources of data. So of course we have, bigger manufacturing opportunities or bigger processes out there that are becoming increasingly digitized. If we take a look at this study from McKinsey, they're kind of forecasting where they see the opportunity in artificial intelligence. And we see that marketing and sales is, again, one of the biggest ones because it comes down to how are companies engaging with their customers, right? We, again, have a lot of kind of different opportunities of how this might look like, but I think in one of the first iterations of this is what we have already heard today of hyper-personalization. Right, so we already can think about how advertising has tracked us in our past, right? That is only going to get more sophisticated as we continue putting out signals, not just through direct purchases or direct engagement with the customer, but the influencers they sell with, the social media platforms, the gaming platforms, all of the kind of digital environments where we are interacting with our with different customers or different companies, is going to start giving enterprises the ability to actually start to customize how they engage with us. So here for a definition, artificial intelligence, I'm really defining as any kind of algorithm that is making independent inferences and conclusions and starting to execute off of that. So one kind of barrier that I actually see, though, is just kind of a cultural barrier. You see a lot of enterprises are very risk averse, and they are a little scared to actually step in, play further into this space. So I'm actually going to pivot to one of the other dimensions of our life where we see this currently playing out, and that is in politics. So in the 2024 elections, we see on both sides of the aisle, artificial intelligence is being leveraged to do this hyper-personalization where candidates are leveraging artificial intelligence like Gen AI to start automating calls, automating outreach for donor engagement, so that way candidates can secure more funding, as well as connect to prospective voters. The kind of exciting things to see there is, how artificial intelligence will have such an immediate impact, right? Campaigning presents one of the exciting labs for artificial intelligence because there is just such a deadline. There is such an immediacy that needs to be fulfilled. And we see artificial intelligence at all levels of government. I can point to one of Higher Ground Labs' startups that is actually working with even a local mayoral candidate in a small town in Kentucky. So we see artificial intelligence, again, not just in the realm of big enterprises, but at the realm of any kind of one that is gathering data. To kind of double click a bit more into how these startups are functioning, essentially any previous individual that has donated to a political campaign in the past is actually being fed into these algorithms, and these algorithms are generating the voices of the candidates, generating audio messages, generating videos, generating emails. So again, kind of a thing to think about is how much data have you put about yourself out there, because that is now going to start feeding the algorithms and the AI of the future. So I'd like to continue this conversation further, and I'm actually launching a Discord server called AI and Me, where I will be tracking a few different opportunities and kind of updates for this. One other great domain we're seeing is in Congress. We actually have 2 bills that are advocating for a little bit more user rights over their data. Ultimately, that brings up a great question of since it's our information and it's our behaviors being tracked by private organizations or even individual candidates for office, don't we have some share of the value that's being generated? Another great example is Scarlett Johansson, who's actually suing OpenAI for the use of her voice, right? So I think we have a lot of exciting updates to continue tracking there, and you can follow me on my Discord server as I keep tab on all of that. And feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. Thank you.